One of the biggest surprises of my recent life, along with me ever getting into any of that ancient wilderness survival crap, has gotta be that I would ever seriously get into playing Final Fantasy I for the Nintendo Entertainment System. In such an insane way, because if you can imagine this, if you can somehow wrap your brain around this one, but from June 25th, 2015 to June 24th, 2016, for almost an exact year on the dot, I actually played through and completed the original NES Final Fantasy on my Wii 3 times in a row. Not once, not twice, but 3! Count them, 3 times in a row. 1, 2, 3. I'm not kidding here, this is no joke. I actually did it 3 different times with 3 different teams. Why, there was Team JMB, Team Project Wizard Staff, and then finally there was easily most feared and dreaded of them all. There was the Red Army! I mean, I am truly flabbergasted here. Truly flabbergasted. As I'm sure some of you listening right now might also be, because why? Why? Really, why? I mean, there is no denying this. There is no denying this at all. To modern standards, the original NES Final Fantasy is such an old, antiquated hunk of junk. It is a POS jalopy RPG. But not only that, but did I not mention way back on JMB and RPGs Part 1 how much I truly hated playing this one growing up? So why the hell would I ever want to sit down and return to it again? Let alone play it through 3 times in a row? Well, honestly, it really started out as something as simple as I thought I needed more footage to finally complete JMB on RPGs. Around this time, back in 2015, summer 2015, more than just about anything, I was just trying to get through those last damn 2 epilogue episodes. And the whole series too, I might add. I mean, don't get me wrong here, don't get me wrong. Making JMB on RPGs was a lot of fun. Probably the most fun I have ever, or will ever have making videos on YouTube. Nothing will ever be as cool to me as getting to make JMB on RPGs, and I'd be lying if I said that part of me truly did not wish that I could have in fact worked on it forever and ever, making nothing but video after video after video where I talk about nothing else but RPGs until the cows come home. But no, it was always designed to have a beginning and an end, and it was time for it to end. It was time to say goodbye, it was time to move on to something else. And you know, it's funny, it's really funny, but when I look back, if you don't mind me getting just a little retrospective for a sec, it's funny that what was supposed to have once only been just 3 episodes, just an RPG trilogy as it were, and what was once only supposed to have taken me just a lazy summer to complete back in summer 2014, had instead, of course, exploded out on me into 9 episodes, and into something that had actually taken me both summers 2014 and summer 2015 and all the time in between to almost complete. JMB on RPGs would not finally be over until October of that year. But also more interesting to me still, as some of you may or may not know, after making all the episodes leading up to those final epilogue videos, and after covering over 10 different RPGs and actually playing through and recording 6 RPG games back to back, Super Mario RPG, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, CT, EB, and FF6. Even then, after all that, it basically felt to me as if I had already used up all the footage and resources that I had already previously collected. It basically felt to me as if I no longer had any new footage to finally make those last 2 episodes, to finally make those last 2 epilogue episodes. And I thought I really needed some more footage. I thought I really needed to play through one last final RPG. But for the sake of those last 2 episodes, and for the message I was really trying to convey with them, and the entire series as well, it really felt as if I could not just be playing any RPG. No, it really felt like it had to be a very specific RPG that did nothing less than number 1, force me to leave my gaming comfort zone and go out on my quest. Number 2, it had to be a game where I'd be forced to grind and work my ass off like never before in the series. Number 3, no matter what, I could not ever quit, no matter what, of course. And then finally, number 4, most importantly of all, it had to be an RPG where some kind of a transformation took place on screen, an evolution, so to speak, even if it ended up being extremely anticlimactic. Up, you blinked, you just missed it. And so after looking at all of these parameters, all this criteria just listed above, and after literally, freaking literally, I'm not kidding here, after literally finding an original boxed copy of Final Fantasy Fantasy 1 just lying around in a recycling bin on the street. While all this was going on during a walk one day, I swear to God, Andre Gregory would have a field day with this one, it very quickly became apparent to me that clearly, NES Final Fantasy 1 was the one I was gonna play before finally saying goodbye to JMB and RPGs. And so June 25th, that's exactly what I set out to do. I sat myself down to play it, and I pretty much hated it. I pretty much did not like it at all at first, and for darn good reason too, because Final Fantasy 1 for the NES is not just an outdated jalopy POS RPG. No! That would be being too merciful, because Final Fantasy 1 is in fact merciless. It is absolutely merciless, so much in fact, I would go so far to say that Final Fantasy 1 is easily more vicious and vindictive and sadistic than Sephiroth ever was. And if you don't believe me here, well, first off, shut up. And second of all, look, buddy, there are no Phoenix Downs in this game. There are no Phoenix Downs in this game. And even worse in this game, the tents aren't all that helpful either. The tents in Final Fantasy 1 will only replenish just a little bit of your health and count it, zero of your magical charges. Which means that when you go out into the field and one of your black mages or white mages suddenly runs out of magic and essentially becomes useless to you, most mages in this game, except for the red ones, are pretty freaking useless without their magic for most of the game. I swear, they cannot fight their way out of a paper bag. Or even worse, instead, let's say one of your characters just dies. He just randomly gets killed in the field, which will happen a lot. A whole lot, by the way, because FYI, this game has an unspeakable amount of fiends that all have the abilities to either poison you, paralyze you, zap you, stone you to death, or just simply touch you with their itty-bitty little finger and put you instantly to death. And when any of these things happen to you, to one of your members, more often than not, you are going to have to backtrack your sorry ass all the way back to the nearest town, because A, you really need every swinging dick alive to get through anything in this game, to get anything done, anything accomplished. Not to mention you don't want anyone in your crew falling behind with their level grinding. And B, well, because for most of the game, towns are the only true places where you can bring the dead back to life or fully charge up and restore all your magic and health. But the real funny, or not so funny thing here, is there are going to be times where you might not even get back to the nearest town in the first place, because with already at least 25% of your crew either dead or rendered incapacitated due to lack of magic, your entire posse could easily get picked off one by one, and easily all end up dead before you ever even get to the town in the first place, thus losing all the progress that you may have achieved up to that point. Fuck!
The demon code prevents me.
That is how merciless Final Fantasy 1 truly is. And don't even get me started about how much it will drive you crazy every time one of your light warriors will end up attacking nothing but air. That's right, you heard me. Thanks to some incredibly piss-poor gaming mechanics, nothing but air. Happy Hanukkah. So yeah, playing this game really sucks at first. In the very beginning. The first 20% of this game is no fun at all. It is an incredibly tough learning curve, even if you have in fact played a whole bunch of RPGs before. I cannot understate this enough. It's terrible, it's awful, it's a wife beater, it's Christian Bale wearing a raincoat indoors for some reason. Why are you wearing the raincoat, Chris? But damn, once you finally get over that first big hump in the game, that first 20%, once you finally put an end to that insane, never-ending grindfest around Elfhelm, and once you finally kill all those bastard wizards in the Marsh Caves and Astros, and then get the dwarves to build you that damn canal, suddenly, the whole world, the whole map, literally starts to open up to you in a very big way. And suddenly, I'm not kidding here, this game does actually start to become a whole lot of fun to play. This old school POS jalopy RPG. Because as truly merciless as this old school RPG classic truly is, that is also how truly rewarding it is when you finally start to get through it. It's a good feeling. It's a damn good feeling. And I think it's one that we've all experienced for ourselves in one way or another. Whenever we go out there and actually try our hand at something new. Some new quest of some kind, big or small. I think old school Final Fantasy 1 emulates this perfectly because hell yeah, the first 20% 20% is always gonna suck. Hell yeah, the first few months you start going to the gym is gonna suck. Hell yeah, the first couple of years you start trying to learn a foreign language or a musical instrument, it is definitely gonna suck too. And hell yeah, hell frickin' yeah, like you would not believe. You cannot grasp just how much this is gonna suck. Hell yeah, if you actually go out there and try to make something happen for yourself, some big splash in the world of business, of show business, YouTube, the world of tech startups, or stand-up comedy involving ventriloquist dummies, or whatever, hell yeah, it's gonna suck. But also, just like an old school NES Final Fantasy 1, if you can just somehow find a way to buckle down and get through it, through that first 20% and beyond, and whatever it is you're trying to do, things will start to get better for you, because the map will start to open up to you. And from here, unlike most people, if you learn to just speed up instead of slow down, if you learn to push yourself harder rather than ease up, you might one day find yourself up for a serious hell of a ride. You might one day find yourself up for a serious transformation. A serious transformation, so to speak, even if it ends up being a very anticlimactic one. Oh, you blinked, you just missed it. Bear! So yeah, man, I tell you, old school Final Fantasy 1 is definitely worth checking out and playing sometime. Just to experience this for yourself. Just to experience this entire life-size process deliciously served to you inside a tiny little 8-bit Nintendo game nutshell. This incredibly important, dare I say it, life lesson that hell yeah, your beginnings, your first 20% is always gonna suck. But if you can just learn to buckle down and get through it, if you can just learn to buckle down and double down and triple down and bet the whole farm even, live dangerously, just as Nietzsche used to say, I think the sky's the limit. I think the sky's the limit for us all, or in the least, we'll die a very good death. I mean, I know in some way or another we all eventually gotta fold, because that's why death was invented. Oh yes, death, the ultimate folding experience. But what I don't get is how so many of us fold all the time, so easily, while there's still breath in our lungs. That's just lame right there. That's my definition of lame. So no, I swear to you all right now, I swear to you all in this giant stack of RPG games, that I do not fold. No, just dead to the last man. That I understand, and since I'm not dead, woohoo, since I'm still writing, YouTubing, and playing RPG games, I think I'm gonna celebrate today. I think I'm gonna celebrate in the exact same way that I have been celebrating for exactly 2 years now. By having myself a couple of beers, watching some old reruns of X-Files, because the truth is out there, and that's right, you guessed it! By playing me some old school Final Fantasy 1 on my Wii. Would you care to join me? There's always room in the Red Army for more. Then you can take T3 to hell.
What?
Trust me, T3. It's the only way. To be your little bitch.
Fine!